Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to this class today. I'm very excited to be here, and I know you too you are excited. Thank you so much for being part of this class. Yes, I'm your lecturer for anatomy and physiology of farm animals, and my name is Olayinka Abosede Ojo. Today's topic is on male reproductive system. Male reproductive system. As a way of introduction, reproductive system is the only system in animals that is different between genders. We talk about different systems in the body, circulatory system, respiratory system, and many other systems like that. Only reproductive system differs between male and female animals. So, our male reproductive system represents a crucial gateway into practical production of animal protein and its products to meet the growing number of human population in the world. Therefore, there is a need to have a thorough understanding of the male reproductive tract. Yes, the learning objectives. It is very paramount that at the end of this class, you will be able to describe the male reproductive system of the farm animals in terms of the structure and the function. This figure shows the reproductive system of the bull and that of the ram. Here we have the rectum, the ampullae, we have the vesicular gland, the prostate gland, the bulbourethral gland. All these glands and the ampullae represent the accessory glands. We'll talk more about it after now. We also have the retractor penile muscle and the sigmoid flexure. All these two parts or these two organs represent the mechanism by which the penis is recoiled or packed within the body of the animal when it is not fully erected or when the animal is not experiencing breathing. Then we also have the vast difference, the caput epididymis, the testes, the scrotum, the cauda epididymis. All these parts represent other organs in the male reproductive system. The same thing goes for the ram. We also have other species such as the boa and the stallion. All these basically have similar organs in their male reproductive system. Now, male reproductive system consists of many organs, out of which we have the scrotum, the spermatic cord, testes, tunica albuginea, the seminiferous tubule, the red testes, the accessory glands, the efferent duct, retractor penile muscle, the head of the epididymis, the body and the tail. Then we have the ductus deferens, we have the septa and the penis. Now, this beautiful figure is showing the bull reproductive system. Here we have the testes. The outer covering of the testes is scrotum, and the supply of blood vessels to the testes is called spermatic cord. The prostate here represents one of the accessory glands which enhances reproduction fertility in male animals. Now, let's start from the beginning. Scrotum. The scrotum is the outer part that you see when you look at a male animal. That's outer testis, the ball-like, which is covered by a fibrous membrane that you see outside that is relatively hairless, is called scrotum. Now, the scrotum is a two-lobed sac which is enclosed, for which encloses the testes. It is usually located at the inguinal region between the rear legs in most of these species, and it is composed of a thick skin with numerous large sweat glands and sebaceous gland, and as I said earlier, it is always relatively hairless compared to the body of the animal. And it helps enhances right temperature. It helps the male animal to maintain a relatively constant temperature for the testes to enhance spermatogenesis. Now, the spermatic cord. The spermatic cord is the network of blood vessels, nerves, lymphatics, which supplies the testes with nutrients and gases. So it also helps in heat exchange of the testes. Now, the spermatic cord as well as the scrotum, the two of them work synergistically to regulate temperature in the testes. The tunica datus of the scrotum, which is also the part of the scrotum, and that of the spermatic cord are sensitive to temperature change. So this enhances their mechanism of maintaining a relatively constant temperature of the testes. Now, what are the mechanisms by which the temperature is controlled when we are talking about testes? Number one, we have two major types of temperature. We have the cold weather and the hot weather. Now, during cold weather, there is a contraction of these muscles, these two muscles, which causes the scrotum to pucker and then the spermatic cord to shorten. And by this, the testis is drawn closer to the body, so that the body have a higher core body temperature compared to the testis. So therefore, when the testis is drawn closer to the body, it gets more warmth, and then it warms up to maintain a relatively constant body temperature, or relative temperature to enhance spermatogenesis. Also, during hot weather, these muscles relax, and therefore permitting the scrotum to stretch and the spermatic cord to lengthen. And so when this is done, it helps the testis to be drawn literally away from the body axis, and this helps to maintain the body temperature, such that during hot weather, the core body temperature will not add to the temperature of the testis, therefore making spermatogenesis relatively impossible. So this drawing closer during cold weather and moving away during hot weather enhances maintenance of relatively constant temperature for the testes. It is noteworthy that this does not occur when an animal is under or below the pubertal age. So, and this is also under the influence of testosterone, which is a reproductive hormone for male animals. Now, mechanism of testis cooling, that is, how does the testis becomes cooled down, every time. Now, it occurs by two mechanisms. Now, by evaporation and by heat exchange of the pampiniform plexus. By evaporation, literally or generally, it is known that evaporation brings cooling. So the scrotum, contains secretive glands, which helps, so such release of this sweat enhances cooling of the testes, and such that it is always 2 to 5 degrees cooler than the core body temperature. Also, the second mechanism is by heat exchange. The network of vessels and or blood vessels within the spermatic cord also enhances transport of blood that has high temperature from the testes, and which is being replaced by cooler blood from the heart, and this enhances cooling before it reaches the testes. I hope you are following. If you have any question, please drop at the chat corner and I will respond to your questions. Thank you so much. The testis is the primary organ of reproduction in male animal. This is because it has dual function. What did I call it? Dual function. That is, it has two major functions. Number one, it is cytogenic in nature. That is, it produces sperm cell. Cyto means cell. So the cell that the testis produces is sperm cell. And the second one is, it is an endocrine gland. What did I call it? An endocrine gland. An endocrine gland are glands that produces hormones. So the exact hormone that the testis produces is called testosterone. What did I call it? Testosterone. So because it partakes in these two functions, it makes the testis to be primary. And also, without the sperm cell, there can never be fertilization. So, and it is only testis that produces the sperm cell. So therefore, it is very, very important. Therefore, we name it as primary organ of reproduction in male animals. Another thing that we should note about testis is that the shape and the sizes vary from species to species. In ruminants, if you notice very well, you are very observant, in ruminant animal, the testis is pendulous and elongated. That is, it swings from side to side. In boa, it is tangential to the body axis. That is, it is ventral to the anus and tangential to the body axis. That is, it is attached literally, across to the body axis, and it is not pendulous. So, in spite of the differences in the anatomical shapes, The organs of reproduction are in all species is essentially similar. Now, here we have the structure of the male testis. The male testis have many structures and many parts. Here I will point us to certain parts that we'll briefly look at. Now here we have the tunica albuginea, which is part of the outer covering. After the scrotum, then we hit the tunica albuginea, which is the fibrous covering that protects the internal organs of the testis. So you have the tunica albuginea. From here we have the septa. It is also is an extension of the tunica albuginea, which forms like a structure or gives a firm structure to the testis. Then we have the seminiferous tubule. It is convoluted, that is, it is called just like indomie or just like twisted food. So this particular seminiferous tubule takes more than 80% of the whole testis, and it is very important because it is inside the seminiferous tubule that sperm cells are produced. Now we have the epididymis, which is divided into three. We have the head of the epididymis, which is the first contact of the sperm cell, which moves out. As it moves out of the seminiferous tubules, it goes straight to the great testis, and it is collected at the duct, the efferent ducts, which through that now enters the head of the epididymis. So this head of the epididymis is also called caput. Now we have the body of the epididymis, which is also called corpus, and we have the tail of the epididymis, which is called cauda. So after the tail of the epididymis, during copulation, the sperm cell alongside the accessory fluid moves out through the ductus deferens to the urethra and out to the penis. Yes, the testis embodies major organs of the male reproductive systems, which include the epididymis, the seminiferous tubule, and the great testis. Now, the seminiferous tubule. The seminiferous tubule, as I said earlier, is highly convoluted, that is highly twisted, and it functions in producing and maintaining sperm throughout under the processes of mitosis and meiotic cell division. That is where 2 and 4 daughter cells are produced. It also acts as a store for sperm that is produced. And during the process of meiosis, the satellite cells, which you will see in another image after now, lines the seminiferous tubule, and it undergoes the process of differentiation, which makes it convert into a mature sperm under the process of spermatogenesis. Yes, thank you so much for staying tuned. Now, this image is a cross section of the parenchymal cell of the seminiferous tubule. That is, literally, if the convoluted tube of seminiferous tubule is dissected at the middle, the topmost shape is what we are seeing here. So inside the seminiferous tubule, we have certain parts and certain cells which makes spermatogenesis possible. Now, one of it is the satellite cells. It's also known as mother cells. We have the spermatids, from which the sperm cell, that's the first form. Okay. We have the spermatids, we have the secondary spermatocytes, we have the primary spermatocyte, we have spermatogonium, we have the Leydig cells, we have the basement membrane. Now, the first stage of spermatogenesis, which I will briefly explain, is spermatogonium. This spermatogonium divides mitotically to form primary spermatocytes, and this primary spermatocyte divides meiotically under meiosis 1 to produce secondary spermatocytes, and secondary spermatocyte also produce meiotically as meiosis 2 to form spermatids, and this spermatid now metamorphosize, that is, change form, having tail and being able to swim. They change the form to form a matured sperm cell, which we can see here with blackheads. Now we have the Leydig cell. This is the Leydig cell. We also call it interstitial cells. It is this cell that exists in between the coils of the seminiferous tubule. And this Leydig cell, at puberty, luteinizing hormone stimulate this Leydig cell to form testosterone. And this centralized cell is also the cell that enhances maturation of the sperm cells when it's produced. The head of the sperm cell will be embedded in centralized cells for more maturation. And this is the basement membrane. Rate testis. The rate testis is a little bit of convoluted tube which is also formed after the semiferous tube. You can see this is semiferous tubule, and just immediately after the semiferous tubule we have the rate testis towards the exterior. And rate testis is an interconnected network of small tubes located in the mediastinum of the testis. It is like a passageway through which the sperm cell swims through from the point of production, which is semiferous tubule, to the epididymis where it matures or where it undergoes maturation. Now, the epididymis. The epididymis is also another highly convoluted tube or coiled tube. It is the part that the sperm cells that moves from the rate testis enters. And we have three parts, it's subdivided into three parts. We have the head of the epididymis, which is also known as caput. And here, excess fluid coming out with the sperm cells are reabsorbed. And the sperm cells also undergo maturation here. Then we have the middle, that is the middle, the body of the epididymis. It's also called corpus. Also, sperm maturation takes place here. And at the tail of the epididymis, which is also known as caudal, further maturation occurs, and it also acts as a temporary storage. This is testis as well. It's just like the anatomical structure of the testis. It's just like looking at it from outside, you don't know what exactly lies within. So now, the picture of the image of the internal part is shown to us. So this is the way the internal part of the testis looks like. That is the balls. This is the internal part of the balls. Now, this testis contains a host of other organs, which is I've said earlier. Now we have, although I've explained this earlier through another image, it was still the same. So this better shows the epididymis much more than the last image. So here, this is still the semiferous tubule. You can see how coily it is and how numerous it is. Now, so we have the this is the rate testis we saw in the last image. And when the sperm cells are produced from here, they migrate from the rate testis, from the semiferous tubule, I beg your pardon, into the rate testis. As they collect in the rate testis, they migrate or they move through the vas efferentia, which is the tube that connects the rate testis to the head of the epididymis. And they move to the head of the epididymis. From the head, they migrate to the body of the epididymis. And from the body, they migrate to the tail of the epididymis. And from there, the journey continues to the vas deferens and out. Now, let's go to the function of the epididymis. The epididymis is very important, is an important part or organ of the male reproductive system because of three major functions. We have transport. What did I call it? Transport. Yes, in sexually active males, the time involved for sperm cell to swim or to be transported is about 9 to 11 days in boas, that is male pigs. Then it takes 13 to 15 days to be done in rams, that is male sheep, and about 9 to 11 days in bull, that is male cow. So this is the number of days that it takes a sperm cell to swim from the semiferous tubule then out to the epididymis in each of these species mentioned above. Now, so one of the functions of the epididymis is transport. Then secondly, we have the concentration. Sperm cells or spermatozoa which enter the epididymis from the testis of the bull, the ram, and the epididymis, they concentrate. That is, the excess water is removed and it is now concentrated. So through this concentration ability of the epididymis, a matured ruminant animal, either bull or ram, can have up to 4 billion spermatozoa per meal. Some of these animals could produce as much as 50 males, or as much as 30, 40, 50 males. And if you pick just a drop, like literally like a drop of sperm, of semen, it will contain about 4 billion spermatozoa. Wow. That is it. So through absorption of this sperm cell or the sperm fluid, this is achievable. Now, the third function of the epididymis is maturation. What did I call it? Maturation. Maturation occurs at the epididymis, as we have said earlier. Now, for the caput, the corpus, and the caudal, as soon as the sperm cell passes out into the caput from the rate testes, it is not motile and it is not fertile. It cannot fertile any egg, and it's not really motile. But as soon as it passes through the epididymis, that is from the head to the body to the tail, it gains ability to be motile and to be fertile. Vas efferentia. Vas efferentia, or we can also call it vas deferens, they are a pair of ducts which leads from the epididymis. That is, by the time sperm cell swims from the spiniferous tubule to the rate testes, then to the head of the epididymis, that is caput. By the time it tours the caput, the corpus, and the caudal, it enters the vas efferentia. What did I call it? The vas efferentia. I will ask questions about this, the movement of sperm cell from the point of production to the point of ejaculation after now. Please note, this will be your assignment. What is, or state the specific points or organs that the sperm cell will pass through from the point of production to the point of ejaculation within the male animal. Please note this and submit in the next class. Okay, let's continue. Now, the vas efferentia passes along the spermatic cord through the inguinal canal to the pelvic region, near the opening of the bladder. Is known to exist near the bladder, and it also it seems likely that spermatozoa may pool at the ampullae during ejaculation. During ejaculation, sperm cells might gather close to the ampullae. Ampullae is one of the accessory glands. Yeah, and then before it is now being expelled through the urethra, then through to the erected penis and out. Now we have the accessory glands. The accessory glands are located along the pelvic portion of the urethra. That is, when the sperm cells are traveling out through the seminiferous tubule to the rate testes, to the epididymis, the head, the body, the tail, then to the vas efferentia, then along this part between the vas efferentia and the urethra, it's just like a continued tube. Along this part, we have accessory glands. What did I call it? Accessory glands. What are accessory glands? Just literally, when you are dressed up as a male or female, aside wearing clothes, you put other things on, something like wristwatches, like a bead, like earring, like necklaces, like and so on, as ring, cufflinks, and so on and so forth. All these ones are accessories. They are not the main clothes, but they are accessories. So also we have accessory glands in male reproductive system. So these accessory glands are parts which also have germane functions that they perform, although they are not the main primary organ of reproduction, but they are also very important. So under the accessory glands, we have the vesicular glands. What did I call it? Vesicular gland. Yes, good. We have the prostate gland, the bulbourethral gland. These three glands make the accessory gland majorly. And what do? They contribute their fluid volume to the semen, so that when the sperm cells plus the volume of fluid from this accessory gland combined gives us semen. What did I call it? Semen. Sperm cells plus fluid from the accessory glands combined gives us semen. So, and what they also do is that they enhances volume. They also act as buffers. That is, they helps to reduce the effect of high acidic medium along their path through the urethra of the male, knowing fully well that the same urethra of the male animal is where urine passes, and urine is acidic. and sperm cells do not thrive in acidic medium. Therefore, this fluid from accessory glands helps to neutralize the passageway through which the sperm cell will pass during ejaculation, and also the female genitalia, which is also acidic. So during natural mating or artificial insemination, the urethra of both male and female animal is acidic in nature, and so there's a need to neutralize this medium so as to enhance sperm cells to pass through, because they don't thrive well in acidic mediums. So nature has designed it such that the fluid produced by these accessory glands can have a means of acting as buffer and neutralizing the acidic mediums. They also give nutrients and also other substances to enhance motility and fertility of the semen. Yes, this image or this figure shows accessory glands and their position, anatomical position. Now we have the vas deferens here. That is this. We have the vas deferens. That is as part of the passageway for sperm cell. We have the bladder. This represent the vas deferens. We have the bladder. We have this ampullae is the first one. This is located just along the bladder. Now we have the vesicular gland here that looks like a ball shaped. We have the vesicular gland is paired. Also the ampullae is paired, but the prostate is single. It's not. This is the body of the prostate, and the same thing. Bulbourethral gland is also paired. Can you see it? Now the same thing goes for bull, the ram, the boa, and the stallion. The vesicular glands, we also call them seminal vesicles. They occur in pairs, and they have the appearance of cluster of grapes, just as we have seen earlier. In bulls, they contribute more than half of the total fluid volume of the semen, and they appear to be substantial in their contribution in other species. The contribution of vesicular gland contains fructose and sorbitol. These are sources of energy for the spermatozoa, because the sperm cells travels far within the body of the male as well as in the body of the female before it now reaches the egg at the fallopian tube of the female. So it travels far. So there's a need for a source of energy, a sustainable source of energy, and this is found in the vesicular gland because it contains fructose, which is a source of energy. Then it also contains phosphate and carbonate, which helps to fight against a shift or protect against a shift in pH of the semen in order not to be detrimental to the sperm cell. We have the prostate gland. What did I call it? Prostate gland. The prostate gland is single, and is palpable. That is, you can literally feel it in the bull. Now, it also makes its own contribution, although not as much as that of the vesicular gland. It is larger in size in the bull, and you can literally feel it from outside. It produces alkaline secretions, and it also gives the semen its characteristic smell. Now, this alkaline secretion is the portion of the fluid of the accessory gland that neutralizes this acidic medium. It also contains inorganic ions such as sodium, chlorine, calcium, and magnesium. It neutralizes the acidic content in the male and female genitalia. Now, the bulbourethral gland. What did I call it? Bulbourethral gland. They act as a pair of glands which is located along the urethra as well. They are about the size of walnuts in bulls and much larger in the boa. Boa has a more pronounced bulbourethral gland. And this bulbourethral gland in the bull comes in form of coagulation, like a coagulation. This coagulation during natural mating, it blocks the cervix of the female. It is released, to block the cervix of the female to prevent a backflow of semen during natural mating. Now we have the penis. Penis is the organ of copulation in males. In the bull, in the boa, and the ram, we have sigmoid, so what we call sigmoid flexure. This sigmoid flexure is in a form of S shape, and this is what permits the ability of the penis to be well packed within the body of the animal. Have you ever seen the penile erection of any species of animal? Yes. Have you ever seen any erection of any animal? Which animal is it? Please, I want you to drop it in the chat box. Drop it. Which animal? How does it look like? Can you describe it briefly? Yes. And have you ever asked a question that how does this length of penis come to be fully packed in the body of the animal when it is not erect? Have you ever wondered? Yes. The mechanism by which the penis is packed in within the body of the animal when not erect is through the mechanism of sigmoid flexion. We call this muscle retractor penile muscle. It is this retractor penile muscle that enhances the penis to form an S shape within which or through which the penis is packed in the body of the animal when not erect. Yes, thank you for your contribution. Now, the glans penis, that is the free end of the penis, is highly supplied with the sensory nerves, and it's also is very similar to the clitoris in the female animal. Yes, in most species we have two major types of penis. We have the fibroelastic penis and we have the musculocavernous penis. The difference between the two is that for the fibroelastic penis, this blood sinusoid or vessels in smaller, many as the erectile fibrous tissue. That's why we call it fibroelastic. We have more of erectile fibro tissue compared to blood vessels. So when the animal, especially the bull, the boar, the buck, and the rams, when their penis is fully erect, there's no serious change in the diameter of the penis. But in musculocavernous penis, which is majorly found in stallions, that is in male horses, it contains more of blood vessels and less of erectile tissues, fibrous tissue. So during the time of full erection, the diameter is much bigger and wider, and is more fully erect. From this, in this figure, we are seeing the way the head of the penis of individual species of animal look like. We have the bull, that of the bull. We have the boa is coily at the tip. We have that of the ram and that of the stallion. It is noteworthy that the head of the glans penis aligns with the shape of the cervix of the female of the same species. Now, for boa, it is spiral. The cervix of the sow, which is the female pig, is also in that spiral form. So when there is a natural mating, there is a literary lock between the glans penis and just like a lock and key. This mechanism or this formation enhances quick ejaculation of animal. Now, this is the cross section showing the penis. How does assuming you have an opportunity to take a penis of an animal and they cut it across, this is what you will see. You will see different supplies of blood vessels. We have the dorsal latrine and vein. We also have the connective tissue. We have the 2-inch carbuginea, which also spreads to the penis. Then we have the corpus cavernosum. We have the corpus spongiosum, and we have the bulbospongiosum muscle. These three muscles makes up the firmness and the root of the penis in all animals. Yes, the cross section of the penis. Under the cross section of the penis, we have the erectile tissue, which is spongy in form. It's also called corpus spongiosum. That's where the word comes from, spongiosum. So we also have the bulbospongiosum muscle at the base of the penis. Another part of the penis is corpus cavernosum penis. It is larger and it also forms rod from the ischio-cavernous muscle. All these parts enhances erection of the penis and ability for it to ejaculate during erection. Thank you. This is where we are going to stop the class. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your attention. Please take note of the assignments and submit the next class. Thank you so much. For more to be aware of more of the videos, please subscribe and you hear and get more videos such as this. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.